Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. Liftoff.
Hello. What is up, guys? Hunter Klein bringing you this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys, episode number 67. All right. It's been an interesting week. We're in a new studio, a new room, and a new chapter, y'all. A new chapter. All right. The aura that a studio gives, the stability, the comfort that a studio gives is becoming glaringly obvious to me right now as I try to set up a new studio, as I try to get comfortable to record, get in my zone, get comfy. It's been a challenge. A lot of major issues. The first recording session, the audio file sounded like I was in a church hall. I'm talking about insane reverb. Okay, it sounded like there were special effects implanted on my voice, so we had to spend a good couple hours trying to figure this out. But we are here, and I think we're back to some extent, at least. All right, to the level of which I feel comfortable releasing the episode. Let's just say that. We got a new backdrop. We're not in a white box anymore, which is somewhat comforting. Very homey vibes here. And I can literally see a cornfield from the studio right now as I record. It was a very interesting atmosphere to be in. And it's definitely a change of pace. And it's been interesting transitioning from Arizona to Nebraska. The reason I say that is because while I was in Arizona last week when I was recording, you can quote me saying, "There is absolutely no way I'll leave Arizona. I am staying here. Right? This is where I want to be." But it almost felt like the more miles I traveled away from Arizona, the less attached I became to that area. You know, as I'm traveling through Flagstaff and Utah and Colorado, I continually ask myself, what is so special about Arizona? Why am I so attached to it? Right, this question kept hitting me again as I went through the Rockies and saw these beautiful mountain towns, so on. And I think what had me attached to Arizona was just a habitual lifestyle, habits, comfort. Now, don't get me wrong, I would 100% move back to Tempe or Scottsdale if the opportunity presented itself. But is it as dire as it was when I was actually living there? No. It's not. Okay. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting how your habits and comfort can almost like subliminally influence your decisions and intentions. And that is what I was experiencing last week. 100%. Okay. Now the ride from Arizona to Nebraska, straight up, was a journey. All right. Despite the fact that we stopped at Grand Canyon, which did slow us down a little bit, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, it was around a 16 to 18 hour drive. Now, this is terrible. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I could be positive, but it's terrible. All right. I had my mom counting down every single hour. Only 13 hours left. Only 12 hours left. The absolute worst thing a member of your traveling party can start to do when you are trying to have time seamlessly melt away. Right? It's been 15 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. Okay, we don't need that. I'm not a big fan of that. So that didn't help. Also, the first 6 hours of the trip were made with no internet service, no cell phone service whatsoever. Okay. And the reason this was an issue is because we made the mistake of going or leaving Arizona through the north. And I'll say this right now, and this is very serious: never, ever travel through northern Arizona. Never, ever travel to northern Arizona or southern Utah. Okay. There is nothing there. There is no service. If your car goes down, if your car breaks down, you are screwed. And the only people in that area are it's like a Native American reserve. Okay, there's no technology. You're not going to get a legitimate support. It's going to be sketchy. It's going to be rough. Don't travel through there. Okay. Now the reason we took that route is because it said it was shorter on Google Maps. Not worth however much time we saved. Okay. So, note to self: when leaving Arizona or entering Arizona, go in and out through the East Albuquerque entrance. Bottom line. It was so bad in northern Arizona and southern Utah that I am almost 100% positive that this is where witness protection program patients are taken, because you would not be able to find these people. There is absolutely zero chance you would find anybody if they were living in northern Arizona, because it is a desolate land, friends. It is a desolate land. Okay. Now, a positive of the trip is that we did stop in the Grand Canyon. Okay. This is my first time ever experiencing the Grand Canyon. And I will tell you this: people say photos do not do the Grand Canyon justice. Your eyes don't do the Grand Canyon justice. And what I mean by that is it is so large and massive, it's almost impossible to even comprehend by looking at it visually from the side. Okay, so here's what I will note. If you plan on going to the Grand Canyon anytime soon or hope to go in the future, I will tell you two major tips. Number one, don't just go stand on the side and look at it. Okay. It's not worth it. Not because it's not beautiful, but because you will not be able to comprehend where things are. Okay. Everything in the Grand Canyon is almost the same color. Now, you can tell visually by looking at it that it is absolutely massive, but you cannot tell what is in front of what's behind what, how far is that behind that. It's just overwhelming. Okay. When I say you cannot comprehend how large it is, you literally can't. Visually, it's almost impossible based on the colors, the lack of relativity you have. You can't really gauge depth. So my two tips is either one. If you go to the Grand Canyon, hike it. And I mean hike it. Go down to the bottom. It'll be a long journey, but it'll be absolutely worth it, because you will constantly be able to compare features of the Grand Canyon to yourself as you walk under them. And it would be such an amazing experience. I've hiked a lot of places. I've hiked the Continental Divide, many beautiful trails, many beautiful lakes, and I'm almost certain that hiking the Grand Canyon would be one of the greatest hikes that I've ever gone on. It is so beautiful. It's massive and it's overwhelming. Okay. So if you're going to the Grand Canyon, you can either hike it or B, take a helicopter tour. Okay. Now this is expensive. About $300 a person from what I recall. But guys, this is 100% worth it. Okay, to actually get in a helicopter and fly down there, get in the middle of it, actually see how large things are, get a little closer than just standing on the side, is 100% worth it. Okay. Again, the Grand Canyon is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life, but I can honestly tell you that it wasn't really worth going and just standing on the side for me personally. All right. It's hard to get different angles because you can walk a mile and still kind of see the same side of the Grand Canyon. You want to either hike it or go on a helicopter tour. That is the only way. That's the only way to actually get the most out of that experience and truly enjoy it. Okay. Fantastic. Now, I was made aware of something that is very unfortunate. All right. And I'm pretty frustrated that it was kept under the radar during my time in the podcast, recording the podcast in Arizona. And that is that I was wearing my ring. Boom. on my literal ring finger of my left hand. I have been communicating to every other human, female specifically, that I am a married man. Now, I'm very, very frustrated by this. And I'm very frustrated that no one mentioned this. All right? Nobody could have dropped a comment. No one could have DM'd IP Monkeys. No one could have put something on the YouTube channel. Hey, Hunter, are you married? All right, I'm very frustrated. Now, should I be frustrated? Maybe not. Maybe the actual amount of opportunities that I miss out on as a result of me miscommunicating my marital status is not that much. Right? I think right now I'm just mentally using it as an excuse for all the women that didn't come up to me at the gym. That's probably it. But it is very possible that I could have missed out on some beautiful opportunities because I was communicating the wrong message. And I'm a little upset by that. I'm slightly upset by that. And I was just let know of it on my way home. Okay. But now that we're in Nebraska, things are relaxed. Things have shifted. My mindset has shifted. It's very strange. Right? Just the process of actually moving from the city to the country has a huge impact on your mindset and mental. Especially the crazy difference between going from, the middle of Tempe, Arizona, right next to an airport, loud noises, movement, speed all the time, to a cornfield in Nebraska. It really changes the way the internal engine works. 100%. I'm eating differently. My motivations are different. I'm not as eager to get to work, I'm noticing. I'm not as eager to, it's so strange. It's so strange. Again, it's one of those subliminal things where you live, the speed at which life moves around you has such an immense impact on the way you operate, whether you realize it or not. And I'm very motivated right now. I have a lot of pressure on me, but once again, I don't have my engine's not moving as fast right now. My engine is not moving as fast, and I think it's solely because I'm just in a slower region, a slower area. Okay, and as a result, I think I'm a little more clear-minded to make life decisions. All right, so I'm very happy I am out here in Nebraska to apply for jobs and decide where we're going to be moving next. And I will say this. Nebraska is beautiful. It's relaxing. But the singular only way that I stay in Nebraska is if I get a job for the Huskers football team. If I can get a strength and conditioning job for the Husker football strength and conditioning team, I will stay in Nebraska. Only because getting a strength and conditioning program at the UNL for the UNL football team would be so enormous for legitimizing myself as a strength and conditioning coach that it would be stupid to not take. Okay. I would have to take that. That would set me up incredibly for any strength and conditioning program in football across the country or world. Okay. The UNL football team is renowned. It's upstanding. It has stature. It would be huge. So you best believe that we already emailed the coach and we're trying to find some connections to wriggle in our CV to his desk. And we're trying, but right now I'm exploring Boulder, Colorado. It doesn't really have the weather I'm looking for, but goddamn is that place an oasis. Austin, Texas, of course, Phoenix, Tempe, Scottsdale, any of those Arizona places, Florida, and Nashville. All right, that's really what we're thinking right now. Who fucking knows what's going to happen? Is it very possible that I don't move to one of those cities? Absolutely. Who knows? Who knows, guys? All right. All right. One of the most glaringly obvious things that's happening to me this week is how important it is to enjoy the climb. All right, right now, what we are in, what I would consider this uncertainty, this move across the nation, this application of jobs, is the climb. Man, we're climbing towards something. Right now, that something for me is career aspirations, career goals, achievement. But think across the board, it's becoming glaringly obvious that this is beautiful. I should be enjoying this. And as I'm trying to soak everything in and actually enjoy the freedom I have now and the ability to travel anywhere, I can't help but compare life to a video game. All right. Now, let me preface this by saying that I am a huge gamer, a mega nerd gamer. When I was a kid, I used to competitively play Call of Duty on every single game on PS4. It was an absolutely beautiful experience, and I used to pwn noobs, as they say. But I have been a gamer my entire life, and I enjoy games. Okay, and let's take specifically games that simulate life in a way, like GTA 5, Cyberpunk. These games where you actually start, create a character, grow your character, level up your character, and experience things in an open world. Okay, these games and life itself are extremely similar. Extremely similar. You talk to people, they create connections, you achieve small goals or missions, and get closer to an end game. Now, what is that end game for you in a video game? Generally, nice guns, nice cars. All right, XP abilities. What is the end game in real life? Generally, nice cars. Generally, a wife, companion, family, nice houses. All right, some of us are more materialistic than others, so maybe cars and houses are a little more, but generally they're the same, right? Both have an end game. Both have small incremental goals that you achieve to get to that end game. And the thing that makes video games so much more rewarding generally than real life is that it's short term. You don't have to wait 6 months to get that promotion. You can do it in 6 hours by doing these 3 missions, right? You can get a new car in a day in a video game by grinding a certain mission and getting a bunch of gold, right? It'll take you a couple years in real life. Now, a very interesting difference between video games and real life is that in video games, you can cheat. Left bumper, right bumper, down arrow, up arrow, left, right, triangle, square, X, 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 right? God mode. Infinite cars. Spawn any car you want. And here's the interesting thing that we can extrapolate from this phenomena in video games is in both video games and real life, we spend their entire journey of our climb, our progression, thinking about the end game, thinking about that nice car we're going to get in real life, or thinking about that cool gun we can get in that video game, thinking about the most beautiful woman we can marry when we're older, or thinking about that amazing house that costs 2 million gold in a video game, right? We're always thinking about the end game, right? It's our number one aspiration. And if someone were to come up to you and say, here's free $50,000 or 50,000 gold, we'd almost certainly take it. Right? We'd almost certainly take it because we want that end so bad. And our drive towards that end is what makes us conquer our small goals on that journey very well. But here's the problem, right? You don't want the end game instantly. All right. And we know that. We know that. It's hard for us to realize it in the moment. And me, you, none of us can actually grasp that in the moment. We want that promotion instantly. We want that nice car instantly. But we know what happens when we get all that for free. Right? And we've seen that. Right? Because if you've ever had a video game that you were obsessed with every single day, wake up, play it. You can't get enough. Mom's got to kick you off. You're so excited. You're planning out missions. You're planning out how you're going to make money in the game. And then one day you get a cheat code. Up, left, down, right bumper, left bumper, X, square, triangle, triangle, triangle. Infinite gold. Every single time you throw these cheat codes in, you bypass the journey, the challenge, and you get to end game. You have it all instantly. It's beautiful. That first 30 minutes is the most exciting you've had playing the game because just all you've worked for. But 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in, you realize that there's no point for you to be playing the game anymore. You become bored. There's nothing to work towards. There's nothing to grind towards. What's the point? Now I'm just wasting time. All right. And this would happen over and over again in my life. I couldn't realize it and I didn't want to avoid it because I always wanted the end game so bad. I always wanted instant results. I always wanted to beat it. even though it was glaringly obvious that the real fun of those games was working towards the goal. And my point here in saying this is that I want the cheat codes for real life. I've seen this example. I've seen this happen. I've experienced the doling of a joy of mine because I get the instant results. And still I want to wake up with a BMW M4 in my yard. Still, I want to wake up with a new house. Still, I want to have everything instantly. I want to be wealthy. I want to be successful in my career. I want it all tomorrow. Even though that I know very well that that'll strip me of a large amount of joy in this life. And that is something I'm trying to battle right now. When you get the cheat codes to something, it loses its pizzazz. When you bypass the journey, when you bypass the grind or the climb, you are missing out on a huge amount of the beauty that is life. Okay. And in the past, I've said I want to skip my early adulthood. I've said it publicly on these episodes. I wish I could just fast forward to age 32, I said. And that is just life chipping away at me, hitting me down. Well, not so fast, kid. Not so fast. And me just getting tired of it and wanting to skip it all. Now, while I was in the moment, was probably, that was raw emotion. That's what I was feeling. That is not the right move for all things considered, what we're talking about here. Okay. And we can even go further with this, ending the cheat code conversation and kind of just going to the happiness that life has to provide you. This week, DMX overdosed on some kind of drug. Okay, DMX was a rapper, a huge, famous, successful rapper, who was struggling with drug addiction and actually overdosed. I believe he is breathing on his own now, so it looks like he will come out. But regardless, a famous person who seemingly had it all: the money, the women, the girls, the attention. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. I said the women and the girls. Sorry about that, guys. Don't cancel me. Please, please, please. I meant females. All right? I meant females. He's a man. Obviously, he's interested in females and mates, especially as a young man. Okay. Okay, the money, the females, the cars, everything. He had it all. Everything that a lot of humans aspire, that a lot of humans see as their end game. And he got it all. One could even say that he got the cheat codes of life. Right? He worked for them, but he got the cheat codes. Right? Just like you can spawn a car in a video game, this man can buy and have a car shipped to his driveway in 30 minutes. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this is that even at the end of that, even at the end of those cheat codes, DMX and other artists in similar position, Mac Miller, other wealthy people like Britney Spears, need more. It's not enough. Okay, it's not enough for them when they get to the top, and it's not enough because your body adjusts. You get used to things. Ferraris become the normal, and you wouldn't dare to stand it or sit in a Hyundai. Mm. Having a 10-bedroom house is normal, and you would feel claustrophobic in a 3-bedroom house. You get adjusted. You get bored. What's the point? Where do I find joy? Right? If you're in a video game and you have a cheat code to spawn Ferraris, why the fuck would you ever want to drive a Hyundai? That would be so boring. I've gone at 200 miles. I've ramped over buildings. Why would I want to drive a Hyundai at 60 miles per hour? Right? You get used to it and you get bored. Now, in life, when you get bored, there's not a lot else you can do. You can't go buy a new video game. Well, I guess you could actually go play video games, but unfortunately, that's not the route a lot of these people take. When they get bored, they turn to substances that can give them the joy that life can no longer provide. Right? And what we see as a result is a lot of drug addiction in wealthy people, a lot of depression in wealthy people, and unfortunately, a lot of overdoses, like my favorite artist of all time, Mac Miller, experienced. And I think it's a very important lesson, once again, finding beauty in the climb and being very aware that mountain you see in the distance, that is your dreams and aspirations, might eventually, as you approach and progress in your career and your wealth, might turn out to be a pile of rocks. Okay. Everything is not what it seems. And I think the real beauty in life is the journey, and the climb, as exhausting as it can be sometimes. But those small victories and incremental victories and steps we take towards our goals are so goddamn beautiful, guys. Okay. I don't think, I don't think that end goal that you have in your mind is going to solve all your issues and fix your life is really all what it's cracked up to be. Okay. So I think it's very important to remember that. All right. And if you don't believe me, hell, I barely believe myself. Right. I struggle listening to this advice. And by struggle, I mean I rarely ever. Right. Like I said, I still want a BMW M4 to appear in my driveway. I feel like it would solve all my issues for whatever reason. If I had a house, I feel like I'd be insanely happy and my life would be fixed. Does it feel that way? Absolutely. Is that really the case? From what I can tell, no. I just gotta teach my brain how to properly navigate this space. And it's okay. My brain's not even fully developed. Right? My frontal lobe, the decision making portion of my brain hasn't developed yet. So that's my excuse right now. And we'll see what happens when we turn 25. All right. We'll see what we come up with them. Okay. Okay. Life is a goddamn video game, friends, and enjoy the grind, because when you get to the top, when you get those G codes, things tend to lose their pizzazz. All right. All right. Fantastic. Guys, I realized an IP Monkeys hack. A hack for the podcast. When I release an episode, if it's shorter than 30 minutes, it's probably going to be a rough one. Unless I'm talking fast, which I think I am a little bit this week. I guess it depends on my energy levels. But generally, the shorter an episode is, the more down and rough I am doing. Right? The more down bad I am, the more rough I'm feeling. Most likely probably sick. Like, that is really the tall tale sign. The longer it is, the better I'm feeling. All right. I think that is or the more I have to talk about, at least. All right. All righty. Do we have anything else to talk about? Let me drop the IP Monkeys phone number. It has been a relatively slow time in regards to the IP Monkeys hotline, even though we have more people than ever tuning into the podcast. So I'm going to detail this for you guys. I will be providing an IP Monkeys phone number. All right, and this phone number allows you guys to call in and share your thoughts on the podcast, ask a question about a topic, or even stimulate a conversation. Right? What do you think we should talk about on the podcast? What is a topic that you want to hear my take on or hear me rant about? Okay. Because as a result of me being one person, I tend to have blinders, and I tend to have holes in my perspective, or I lack the ability to think in certain ways or ask certain questions. And so it's very beneficial for you guys if you're willing to call into this number and share, right? I'm not going to answer the phone. You will be recording a voicemail, which will be saved on my phone and played back on the podcast, and I will react to it in real time. Okay. So call in, share your thoughts. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you want to talk about, family. All right. That phone number is 602-892-4371. Again, the IP Monkeys hotline is 602-892-4371. Call that number. Leave a voicemail. Let's talk. All right. Let's talk. All right. What is going on, guys, in the world? I'm not going to try to talk about current events this week. I have too much going on. I just got home. I'm relaxed and I'm trying to get my life together. I barely got this podcast up and running, and that's just really what it is. That's really what it is. I'm excited to hang out with some friends, relax. Again, one of the biggest challenges right now is the relaxation and the laziness I feel being home. I don't have that same pep in my step that I did in Arizona, with the speed of the city, so on and so forth. That's something I just got to get used to. And yeah, we push forward. All right. If you guys are down, battle through. You'll make it out eventually, whether it be tomorrow or in 2 weeks or in a couple months. When you do make it out, life will have a very beautiful little shine to it. Right. You got to get dragged through the mud sometimes to really experience the true beauty that the world has to offer. And if you're on a high right now, enjoy it, friend, because you bet your ass you're coming down. All right. Hopefully you're up there for longer than average, or you're up there long, I should say. But eventually you will come down, and that's what makes life beautiful. All right. Because if we were all on a beautiful high all the time, well, it would no longer become a high, it would become the average. All right. The body's always adjusting. You're always getting used to things. So the roller coaster ride that is life and human emotion brings extreme beauty to the human experience and makes this bad boy worth living, as shitty as it can be sometimes. All right. So hang in there, family. Laugh with your friends. Fall in love. And make sure you're enjoying the beauty of the universe that we're all floating through right now. All right. Alrighty, that's it for this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys. This is Hunter Klein, and I'll hear. God damn it, guys! You'll hear from me next week. Peace, peace.